Is it going? I can't tell. For YouTubers, this is my video, and I wrote a new book called God's 007 Installment 6, and I wrote it open letter to Bronny James, and this is not a very good picture. I got that cartoon because I looked for non-copyright and I couldn't find them. Basically, I'm saying this book explains how Bronny James may have collapsed from sudden cardiac arrest. Bronny James collapsed from cardiac arrest on July 24, 2023. It is my opinion and theory that Bronny James collapsed because of a very unfavorable biorhythm pattern. It's the same biorhythm pattern that DeMar Hamlin had when he collapsed on January 2nd, 2023. In the long description, I'll go on further. I am writing this book in the hope of giving Bronny James some insight into his sudden cardiac arrest on July 24th, 2023. Since Bronny James' collapse, I have learned that sudden cardiac arrest has reached what seems near epidemic proportion, particularly in young people. Just recently, I read about a 10-year-old girl who suddenly collapsed while doing cheerleading exercises. At the core, there seems to be a biorhythm pattern that is heavily prevalent in each person I have studied and researched. Now, I am not a doctor, MD or PhD, nor am I trying to act in capacity as one, but I am a person who hails from an HBC with a degree in accounting and a basic understanding of statistics and numbers. I am not a pompous ass who is blinded by an overabundance of knowledge that may or may not be relevant. This epidemic of sudden cardiac arrest is taking far too many of the beautiful young people of our generation. While I believe I have a big piece of the puzzle, which is at the center of this sudden increase, I obviously do not have all the answers. I do not know why this particularly very unfavorable pattern has suddenly become potentially lethal. There are theories independent of this biorhythm pattern that suggest the vaccine might be playing a role. There are researchers, it seems, on both sides of the question. None of the researchers have even considered the role of biorhythms. This is perplexing for me because so far I have found the biorhythm pattern that was present with DeMar Hamlin and Bronny James quite prevalent in the sudden cardiac arrest that resulted in a dozen or so other deaths. Ultimately, athletes such as Bronny James and DeMar Hamlin will survive and be okay, even if they have a recurrence of sudden cardiac arrest. Why? Because they have adequately trained medical staff and equipment, AEDs, automatic equipment defibrillators to revive them. There are thousands of others who will not have adequately trained staff AEDs to revive them who will not survive. The overall problem will not subside, in my opinion, until medical science finally realizes the biorhythms do exist, even though they are not detected as yet by modern scientific equipment. But first, medical science has to consider and establish that biorhythms do exist. I believe my data and my books prove that biorhythms exist.